Shh, listen up. Viewer discretion is advised. June 7th, 1943. Los Angeles papers run the kind of headline you would expect in a bad comedy sketch. Zoot Suiters beaten by servicemen, police arrest victims. Only nobody's laughing. In 7 wild nights, thousands of sailors storm the streets, strip Mexican, American, and black teens down to their skivvies, torch the baggiest suits in bonfires, and leave the pavement speckled with blood. The offense? Wearing too much fabric while the country's begging for every spare inch for the war effort. A suit, wide, loud, impossible to miss, had just fired the first shot in a battle most Americans never realized they were already fighting. That suit had a name, the Zoot Suit. Today, we're tracing how kids with sewing needles turned extra cloth into a battle flag so bright that the U.S. Navy decided it had to be snuffed out. You'll meet the Pachucos and Pachucas who stitched self-respect into every pleat, the sailors who thought patriotism came with a pair of scissors, and the city that decided ration books mattered more than civil rights. By the end, I hope you'll agree, the Zoot Suit was never just fashion, it was armor you could dance in. Section 1, Harlem Tailors, Jazz Trumpets, and the Birth of Drip Flash, Back to Harlem, 1938. Duke Ellington is ripping through Caravan at the Cotton Club and the floor is packed chest to shoulder. Cab Calloway struts on stage in a jacket cut like a switchblade's edge, pants billowing like parade balloons. The crowd wants in. Across 125th Street, tailors race to top each other. More fabric, longer chains, higher waistbands, wider lapels. Every extra inch screams, "We're here, we're alive, and we're gorgeous." The look hitches a ride west. By 1941, Mexican-American teens in East LA are dyeing the silhouette midnight black or electric sharkskin and calling themselves Pachucos or Pachucas. The suit becomes a second language. Years later, a kid named Manuel put it simply, "When I zipped up the Zoot, I didn't have to explain where I came from. The cloth did the talking." Section 2, War boards, wool shortages, and the color line then Pearl Harbor. Overnight, Roosevelt's War Production Board slaps L85 on every bolt of cloth. Wool for soldiers first, civilians second, style dead last. Men's suits shrink, 3 buttons max, cuffs gone, lapels trimmed to ribbons. Yet the Pachuco and Pachuca suits stay huge. Papers explode about unpatriotic waste. City councils scribble ordinances banning excess apparel. At the same moment, LA swells with sailors on leave from San Diego and Long Beach. They push through bar doors and spot kids spinning in what looks like triple the legal fabric quota. The same editorials that beg for sacrifice run cartoons of brown zooters hoarding silk for sirens of sabotage. The match meets the fuse. Sacrifice versus swagger. White uniforms versus brown and black kids. Thrift versus flamboyance. Section 3, Sleepy Lagoon and the Match in the Box, August 2, 1942. A young man named Jose Diaz turns up dead near a muddy reservoir, the papers dub Sleepy Lagoon. Police haul in 600 Mexican-American youths. 22 stand trial in a circus where the prosecution's smoking gun evidence is the cut of a jacket. Zoot equals criminal. The headline writes itself. When the verdict drops, it lands like a sentence on an entire generation. Mugshots of boys in drapes fill the evening news, fear dripping off the page. Sailors in nearby bars read the stories, then head outside hunting wide lapels. One sailor later shrugged. "They dressed like gangsters, so we figured they were. We were just keeping America safe." Safe? By shredding jackets at trolley stops. Section 4, 6 nights in June, June 3, 1943. A sailor swears a Zoot Suiter slashed him. By sunset, 200 sailors cram into taxicabs and fan out. They catch Henry Martinez crossing Main Street. Minutes later, his jacket is confetti, his watch chain gone. Cops look the other way. A few point out Zooters, still hiding in movie theaters. Night 2, 500 sailors. The riots cool only after Navy brass locks sailors on base, and the press finally calls the attacks what they were. Shameful. But the wreckage lingers. Tailor shops along Brooklyn Avenue are gutted. Sewing machines sell for scrap metal. Yet something else stirs. The kids who made it out throw house parties, stitch new drapes from blackout curtains, pass around Pachuco slang dictionaries like secret Bibles. By the 1950s, the Zoot Suit resurfaces on rock and roll posters, Chicano murals, the pages of Luis Valdez's poetry. The suit, once labeled delinquent, now headlines Broadway and Zoot Suit the musical. Manuel, the kid who let cloth do the talking? He grows up to run a community center on Whittier Boulevard. The original sharkskin jacket hangs in a glass case. When kids giggle at the size, Manuel grins, because dignity doesn't come in one size fits all. If this story feels brand new, blame the textbooks that left it on the cutting room floor. Pass it to the friend who claims fashion is fluff. Then hit subscribe. Next week, we're tracking how the conch hairstyle became its own quiet protest. Sometimes the boldest thing you can wear is the plain, honest truth. Let's talk about the Zoot Suit Riots, because I think there's a lesson in here about clothing and expression and cultural conflict. I don't want to say this whole thing was avoidable, but I don't know if things would have been so explosive if the media wasn't primed to see these baggy suits as a sign of moral decay. There's this sense that the appearance of delinquency is evidence of delinquency. And it's almost as if seeing those wide lapels triggered some sort of Pavlovian response in these sailors. These guys were so primed to find something to hate that they latched onto the Zoot Suit as their symbol of everything they were told to hate. So I don't know. Maybe there's a lesson in here about watching out for manufactured outrage and not letting your fears determine your actions. But hey, that's just my take. What do you think? And if you like this episode, please be sure to subscribe and leave a review.